The signal. Commander Ilara Way stood motionless before the command center's main view screen, her face illuminated by the soft blue glow of distant stars. Station Artemis hung in the void at the edge of human space, a small outpost responsible for monitoring the border between humanity's modest territory and the vast expanse controlled by the various alien powers of the Galactic Concord. Commander, we're receiving an encrypted transmission from Halcyon Colony, Lieutenant Karim said, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Emergency channel, maximum priority. Ilara's spine stiffened. Emergency transmissions were rare, especially from Halcyon, one of humanity's most prosperous and peaceful frontier settlements. Put it through full encryption protocols. The view screen flickered, and the serene starfield was replaced by chaos. Governor Ellis's face appeared, blood streaming from a gash above her eye, smoke billowing behind her. This is Governor Ellis of Halcyon Colony. We are under attack by Valkyrie warships. Our defenses are failing, and civilian casualties air. The transmission dissolved into static before clearing momentarily. They came without warning. This isn't a border dispute. They're systematically targeting civilian infrastructure. We need immediate military assistance or Halcyon falls within the hour. The transmission cut out abruptly, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Valkyrie, Lieutenant Karim whispered, disbelief evident in his voice. They've been our trading partners for over 30 years. Ilara's mind raced. The Valkyrie Dominion was one of the older spacefaring species, respected for their technological achievements and sophisticated culture. Their six-limbed, chitinous forms were a common sight in human trade hubs, their diplomats renowned for their meticulous attention to detail in negotiations. Scan the Halcyon system, Ilara ordered, her voice steady despite the growing knot in her stomach. Full spectrum, maximum range. The tactical officer, Chen, worked quickly. Long-range scans confirm multiple Valkyrie warships in the Halcyon system. Energy signatures consistent with orbital bombardment. I'm also detecting. Commander, there are Valkyrie battle groups mobilizing across the entire sector. Ilara studied the tactical display as it populated with red markers representing Valkyrie vessels, not just near Halcyon, but positioned near every major human settlement and outpost. This wasn't an isolated incident or a misunderstanding. This was coordinated. This was an extinction-level event. Send immediate alert to Earth Defense Command, she commanded. Full data package, priority channel. Commander, Chen responded, his voice hollow. We're receiving reports from multiple outposts. Earth itself is under attack. The Sol system defenses are being overwhelmed. The command center fell silent. Earth, humanity's birthplace, and the heart of their modest interstellar presence, was under direct assault. How? Karim asked. Our defense grid should have detected an approaching fleet of that size. They must have used the Cassini corridor, Ilara replied, referencing the supposedly neutral trade route that connected multiple species territories. We've always maintained minimal military presence there to honor the Concord treaties. She turned to her communications officer. Any response from Earth Defense Command? Fragmentary transmissions only, Commander. Their communication network appears to be under systematic attack. Ilara made a decision. Seal the station, full defensive posture, and prepare my shuttle. I need to access the vault. Her officers exchanged confused glances. The vault, Commander? Chen questioned. Just do it, Ilara commanded, already moving toward the exit. And pray we're not too late. 30 minutes later, Ilara stood alone in a small, unmarked chamber deep within Station Artemis. Her security clearance had opened doors that most of her officers didn't even know existed. Before her was a simple metal container, unremarkable except for the quantum lock securing it and the biometric scanner that had just confirmed her identity with a soft chime. Inside lay a single device, a small black cylinder with a complex array of controls and a biometric interface. This was the Phoenix Protocol Activator, a last resort measure that Ilara had been briefed on when she assumed command of Station Artemis, but had hoped never to use. Her hand hovered over the device. Once activated, there would be no going back. Humanity would reveal its most carefully guarded secret, one that might save their species or condemn them in the eyes of the galactic community. The decision weighed on her, but the images from Halcyon, of civilians being systematically exterminated, hardened her resolve. Humanity had survived on a Class 12 Deathworld, evolving in one of the most hostile environments known to sentient life. That heritage had taught them harsh lessons about survival. Ilara placed her palm on the device. Phoenix Protocol Authorization. Commander Ilara Way, Station Artemis. Authentication Code. Thermopylae 7 Delta 9. The device hummed to life, scanning her DNA, brainwave patterns, and voice signature. A soft female voice responded. Phoenix Protocol initiated. Standby for executive confirmation. Moments later, the device projected a holographic image of Fleet Admiral Helena Frost, the highest-ranking military officer in human space, if she was still alive. Commander Way, the Admiral acknowledged, her face grim. Your authentication has been verified. I'm receiving similar requests from surviving outposts. The situation is clear. We are facing a coordinated attempt to exterminate our species. Admiral, what's the status of Earth? Ilara asked. Not good. The primary defense grid has been compromised. Major population centers are under direct attack. The publicly known fleets are being systematically destroyed. Her emphasis on publicly known didn't escape Ilara's notice. Then we activate Phoenix? Ilara asked. Admiral Frost nodded solemnly. The Security Council has given authorization. You have the nearest activation node. Proceed with full protocol execution. Ilara took a deep breath and pressed her palm firmly against the device. Phoenix Protocol. Full activation. The device pulsed with energy, connecting to a hidden quantum network that spanned human space, a communication system separate from the standard networks that were now being systematically destroyed by the Valkyrie. Protocol executed. The device confirmed. Signal transmitted. Across human space, in locations unknown even to most high-ranking military officers, something ancient was stirring. In the darkness between stars, in hollowed-out asteroids, in the shadows of gas giants, and in the depths of unmarked moons, armored bay doors were sliding open. Running lights flickered to life on vessels that had never appeared in any public registry, ships with clean, predatory lines, and weapons systems beyond what humanity had ever acknowledged possessing. Return to your command center, Commander, Admiral Frost instructed. You'll be receiving new orders shortly, and prepare your crew. They're about to witness something they weren't supposed to know existed. Back in Artemis's command center, Ilara found her officers monitoring the worsening situation. Reports of Valkyrie attacks continued to flood in from the dwindling number of human outposts still able to communicate. Commander, Chen called out, confusion evident in his voice. I'm detecting unusual energy signatures. They're appearing throughout the sector, seemingly out of nowhere. Ilara moved to the tactical display. Magnify and identify. The screen zoomed in on one of the anomalies, a massive vessel emerging from the shadow of a gas giant in the Procyon system. It was unlike any human ship her officers had ever seen, darker, sleeker, and bristling with weapon systems that made standard human military vessels look like toys. That's not one of ours, Karim stammered. Is it? It is, Ilara confirmed, watching as more signals appeared across the display. Or rather, it's one that we hoped never to need. The communications panel chimed. Commander, we're receiving a transmission on a military channel I've never seen before, the communications officer reported. It's using encryption protocols that aren't in our database, but the system is accepting them automatically. Put it through, Ilara ordered. The main screen flickered, and a stern-faced man in a uniform without insignia appeared. His weathered features suggested decades of service, though his official records would show him retired or deceased years ago. This is Admiral Marcus Chen of the Phoenix Fleet to all surviving human military assets. The Phoenix Protocol has been activated. All station commanders and surviving vessel captains are to acknowledge this transmission and prepare to receive tactical data. The counterattack begins in 30 minutes. Ilara stepped forward. Admiral Chen, this is Commander Wei of Station Artemis. We acknowledge your transmission and stand ready. The Admiral nodded. Commander Wei, your station is about to become a coordination hub for this sector. Prepare to receive incoming vessels, some of which may surprise your crew. Remember your oaths and keep your people focused. Humanity has prepared for this day for generations. As if on cue, the tactical display began registering new contacts. Dozens, then hundreds of vessels appearing where none had been detected before, emerging from hidden bases and classified locations throughout human space. My God, Lieutenant Chen whispered, staring at the tactical display. There are hundreds of them. Where did they all come from? Ilara watched as the ships began moving with coordinated precision, forming battle groups and tactical formations. From the shadows, Lieutenant. From the one advantage that comes from evolving on a death world. Paranoia. The tactical display suddenly highlighted 3 Valkyrie warships on direct approach to Station Artemis. Valkyrie vessels on attack vector, the tactical officer reported. Weapons hot, shields at maximum. They'll be in firing range in 2 minutes. Ilara was about to order emergency evasive procedures when 4 new contacts appeared on the display, moving at incredible speed toward the Valkyrie ships. New contacts identified as Phoenix Fleet destroyers. The tactical officer reported, surprise evident in his voice. They're moving faster than anything I've ever seen. The command center crew watched in stunned silence as the 4 human vessels, sleek, predatory shapes with angular lines that seemed to devour light rather than reflect it, tore into the Valkyrie formation. Energy weapons unlike any in the public human arsenal lanced out, cutting through Valkyrie shields like they weren't there. In less than 30 seconds, all 3 Valkyrie warships were drifting, dead in space. Admiral Chen's face reappeared on the main screen. Commander Wei, your station is now secure. Prepare to receive tactical teams and redeployment orders. The Phoenix Fleet is awakening across human space, but we need coordination hubs, and Artemis is one of the few stations still intact. Ilara nodded, a mix of relief and grim determination settling over her. We'll be ready, Admiral. As the transmission ended, she turned to her stunned crew. I know you have questions. The truth is, humanity has maintained a secret fleet for generations, vessels and weapons beyond what we've ever acknowledged to the galactic community. We built them because deep down, we never fully trusted that our place among the stars was secure. She gestured to the tactical display, where Phoenix Fleet vessels were now engaging Valkyrie ships across multiple systems. Today proves that caution was warranted. The Valkyrie thought they knew everything about our capabilities, our defenses. They were wrong. Lieutenant Karim looked up from his console. Commander, incoming transmission from Admiral Chen. Tactical data and deployment instructions. Ilara nodded. Put it through to my station. She studied the incoming data, her expression hardening. The Phoenix Protocol is more than just hidden ships. It's a comprehensive counter-extinction plan. And now it's in motion. She straightened her uniform and addressed her crew. The Valkyrie attacked us because they thought us weak, unprepared. They're about to learn why species from Deathworlds are feared throughout the galaxy. Humanity doesn't just survive. We prepare. The response. Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the HSS Nemesis, the flagship of humanity's hidden Phoenix Fleet. At 73, he should have been retired, enjoying his grandchildren and tending to the small garden behind his home in New Zealand. Instead, he commanded the most powerful human warship ever constructed, a vessel that, until 12 hours ago, had never left its hidden berth deep within the asteroid belt of the Ta City system. Status report, he demanded, his weathered face illuminated by the tactical displays surrounding his command chair. His executive officer, Commander Diana Reyes, responded crisply. Phoenix Fleet deployment at 87%, Admiral. Battle groups have secured 4 key junction points and established defensive perimeters around 7 surviving human colonies. The Vrakari appear confused by our response. Chen allowed himself a grim smile. They would be. Their intelligence suggested they were attacking a species with limited military capabilities, a few hundred defensive vessels spread thin across 24 systems. He gestured to the tactical display, now showing hundreds of Phoenix vessels engaged across human space. Instead, they've awakened a fleet that's been building in secret for 70 years, a fleet designed for one purpose: to ensure that humanity cannot be exterminated in a single strike. The Nemesis shuddered slightly as its massive engines pushed it toward the Procyon system, home to New Harvest, one of humanity's largest agricultural colonies, and currently under heavy Vrakari assault. Time to intercept, Chen asked. 17 minutes to Procyon jump point, the navigation officer reported. Battle Group Daedalus is already engaging the Vrakari blockade, but they report heavy resistance. Chen nodded. The Vrakari committed significant forces to New Harvest. They know its strategic value to our food supply chain. He studied the incoming tactical data. Order Battle Group Daedalus to hold position, but not to commit their reserves. I want the Vrakari focused on them when we arrive. Commander Rice worked her console, then looked up with concern. Admiral, we're receiving reports from the Sol system. Earth's orbital defenses have been breached. Vrakari ground forces have landed in multiple locations. A cold fury settled in Chen's chest. Earth, humanity's birthplace, the cradle of their species, under direct invasion. The Vrakari weren't just attempting to defeat humanity. They were trying to erase them, to burn their history and heritage along with their people. What's the status of Phoenix assets in the Sol system? He asked. Battle groups Orion and Artemis have broken through the outer blockade, Rise reported. They've established a corridor to Earth and are deploying ground support units to reinforce the remaining defense forces. Chen nodded. Transmit my authorization codes to General Santos. Implement scorched earth protocols for all Phoenix ground installations. If the Vrakari want to see what humans are capable of when cornered, we'll show them. The bridge crew exchanged glances. The scorched earth protocols were among the most classified aspects of the Phoenix response. Tactical nuclear and antimatter weapons hidden in plain sight near major population centers, designed to deny the enemy any foothold if invasion became inevitable. Jump point in 2 minutes. Admiral, the navigation officer reported. Chen straightened in his chair. All hands to battle stations. Weapons systems to full readiness. Shields at maximum. The Nemesis's quantum engines hummed as they prepared to tear a temporary hole in space-time, allowing the massive vessel to bypass normal space and emerge directly in the Procyon system. Jump in 3, 2, 1. Execute. The view screen flared with exotic energies as the Nemesis and its escort vessels translated through the artificial wormhole. When the light faded, they had arrived in the midst of chaos. The space around New Harvest was a battlefield. Vrakari warships, sleek, copper-colored vessels with organic-looking curves, had formed a blockade around the planet. Battle Group Daedalus, consisting of 12 Phoenix vessels, was engaged in a fighting retreat, drawing the Vrakari away from the planet's southern hemisphere. Tactical analysis, Chen ordered. 27 Vrakari capital ships and approximately 40 support vessels, the tactical officer reported. They're focusing on Battle Group Daedalus, unaware of our arrival. Their rear guard is thin. Chen studied the display. Classic Vrakari formation. They always protect their flagship at the center. Identify their command vessel. The tactical display highlighted a massive Vrakari ship at the core of their formation. That's the Dominion's pride, Rai said. Intelligence suggests it's commanded by High Marshal Zex Troll himself, the architect of this entire campaign. Chen's eyes narrowed. Then let's send the Marshal a message. Target their command vessel. All primary weapon systems. The weapons officer's hands flew across his console. Targeting solutions locked. Gravitic lance and phase cannons ready. Fire. The Nemesis shuddered as its main weapons discharge. A concentrated beam of gravitational distortion, technology humanity had publicly claimed was decades beyond their reach, lanced out, followed by salvos from the phase cannon batteries. The attack struck the Valkyrie flagship before its sensors had even registered the Nemesis' presence. The effect was devastating. The gravitic lance tore through the Valkyrie vessel's shields as if they weren't there, creating a localized distortion field that crushed a third of the ship's hull. The phase cannons, firing milliseconds later, struck with surgical precision, targeting engines, weapon emplacements, and command nodes. Direct hits, the tactical officer reported. Valkyrie flagship severely damaged. Their formation is breaking. Chen leaned forward. All vessels, execute attack pattern Phoenix 3. Target their command and control systems first, then weapons. I want those ships disabled, not destroyed. We'll need prisoners. The Phoenix fleet moved with practiced precision, tearing into the disorganized Valkyrie formation. Ships that had been hidden for decades unleashed weapons that humanity had never acknowledged developing. The battle, expected to last hours, was effectively over in 20 minutes. Valkyrie forces are in full retreat, Rise reported. 3 of their capital ships have surrendered. The rest are jumping out system. Chen nodded, satisfaction evident in his weathered features. Secure the prisoners. I want their command staff brought to the Nemesis immediately. 2 hours later, Chen stood in the Nemesis's interrogation chamber, face to face with High Marshal Zextrol of the Valkyrie Dominion. The alien commander was an imposing figure, nearly 7 feet tall, with the characteristic chitinous exoskeleton of his species and 4 arms ending in delicate manipulators. Despite his current status as a prisoner, he maintained a dignified posture. You have violated all conventions of warfare, Zextrol stated, his translator converting the clicking language of the Valkyrie into crisp English. Deploying hidden military assets, using weapons technologies you claimed not to possess. These are serious breaches of the Concord Treaties. Chen's laugh was devoid of humor. You launch an unprovoked attack aimed at exterminating my species, and you want to lecture me about treaty violations. The Valkyrie Marshal's compound eyes flickered. It was not unprovoked. We received the Ascension report. Chen's expression didn't change, but internally, a cold feeling spread through his chest. The Ascension report was one of the most classified documents in human history, a comprehensive analysis of humanity's growth potential based on their unique evolutionary history. How did you get that report? Chen demanded. It doesn't matter, Zextrol replied. What matters is what it revealed. Your species evolved on a Class 12 Deathworld, the only sapient species to emerge from such an environment. Your adaptability, aggression, and resilience make you unique among Concord species. The report projected that within 2 centuries, humans would dominate the galaxy, not through conquest, but through sheer survivability. You can thrive in environments lethal to most species. You recover from injuries that would kill others. You adapt to toxins and radiation in ways we cannot comprehend. The alien leaned forward. The report concluded that humanity represents an existential threat to the current galactic order, not because you are conquerors, but because you are survivors. The Concord Council decided your containment was necessary. Chen's eyes narrowed. Containment? You launched a genocide. A regrettable necessity, Zextrol responded, but clearly an incomplete one. Your hidden fleet, these Phoenix vessels, proves the report's concerns were valid. You were preparing for war all along. No, Chen countered. We were preparing for exactly this, the day when your fear of us would outweigh your reason. Humanity has never sought conquest. We've honored every treaty, respected every border. But we evolved on a world that taught us harsh lessons about survival. Trust, but verify. Hope for peace, Prepare for war." He gestured to a nearby screen showing the ongoing battles across human space, battles that were increasingly turning in humanity's favor as more Phoenix assets came online. "Your species made a critical error, Marshal. You assumed you knew the full extent of our capabilities because we showed you what we wanted you to see. Now you're paying the price for that assumption." The Vrakari Marshal's posture shifted slightly, a sign of discomfort in his species. "The other Concord powers will not stand idle. When they learn of your deception, they already know," Chen interrupted. "We've broadcast footage of your unprovoked attack across all Concord communication channels, along with evidence of the conspiracy against us. We've also demonstrated quite clearly what happens when someone tries to exterminate humanity." He leaned closer to the alien commander. "Here's what's going to happen now. The Vrakari forces will withdraw from all human systems immediately. The Dominion will pay reparations for the lives lost today, and the Concord Council will acknowledge humanity's right to defend itself by any means necessary, including maintaining military forces we deem appropriate. And if we refuse?" Zextrol asked. Chen's smile was cold. "Marshal, you're looking at less than 10% of the Phoenix fleet. The rest is currently moving through your territory, bypassing your defenses using technologies you didn't know we had. There are Phoenix vessels in orbit around your homeworld right now, their weapons trained on your major population centers." The Vrakari's compound eyes widened, the first clear sign of shock he had displayed. "That's impossible," he whispered. "Our homeworld is protected by defenses we helped design." Chen finished for him. "Did you think those trade delegations were just studying your markets? We've been mapping your weaknesses for decades, not because we planned to attack you, but because we needed to be prepared if you ever came for us." He straightened up. "Humanity doesn't want war, Marshal. We never have. But we evolved in an environment that tried to kill us at every turn. Survival is in our DNA. Remember that the next time your council considers us a threat." 3 weeks later, Admiral Chen stood in the rebuilt Earth Defense Command headquarters, looking out over the partially reconstructed skyline of Geneva. The Vrakari attack had devastated portions of the city, but human resilience was already evident in the construction crews working day and night to rebuild. The last Vrakari forces withdrew from the Epsilon Indy system this morning, Commander Rice reported, joining him at the window. "All human territories are now secure." Chen nodded. "And the diplomatic front?" "The Concord Council has accepted our terms. The Vrakari High Command has been removed from power, and the new provisional government has agreed to the reparations schedule. Most significantly, the Phoenix fleet has been officially acknowledged. Humanity is no longer required to hide our true military capabilities." Chen watched as a group of children played in a park across from the headquarters, a simple scene of normalcy that had almost been erased forever. "We never wanted to reveal the Phoenix fleet," he said quietly. "It was always meant to be our insurance policy, a way to ensure that humanity couldn't be wiped out in a single stroke. But now the galaxy knows what we're capable of," Rise observed. Chen turned from the window. "They know some of what we're capable of. The Phoenix fleet was just one layer of our contingency planning. There are others." Rise raised an eyebrow. "Sir, humanity evolved on a death world, Commander. Paranoia kept our ancestors alive long enough to develop tools, language, civilization. That same paranoia led us to build the Phoenix fleet while smiling at diplomatic functions and pretending to be less advanced than we are." He glanced back at the children playing outside. "And it will guide us going forward." He handed her a datapad. "These are your new orders. You're being promoted to Rear Admiral and given command of the Nemesis." Rise looked surprised. "Sir, you're stepping down." Chen smiled slightly. "Not stepping down. Moving to a different role. The Phoenix Protocol has multiple phases. We've completed Phase 1. Survival. Now we begin Phase 2. "Which is?" Rise asked. Chen's expression was resolute. "Making sure this never happens again. The galaxy now knows we have teeth. It's time they understand we have memory as well." Outside, Earth continued to heal, its people rebuilding what was lost while looking to the stars with new understanding. Humanity had revealed its true nature, not conquerors, not victims, but survivors. Deathworlders who had carried the harsh lessons of their evolution into the stars. And the galaxy would never underestimate them again.